I was just inspired to make one of these sit down talking videos. I don't have anything to say other than that I'm playing the game of life just to pass the time. That's the only thing I have to say. That's why I just stopped talking. And I'm holding back saying certain things, partially out of preference. I just don't want to be the guy that says them. I'd also love to be the guy that says them and plays the role of the ego that I'm thinking of. And I understand that I can't sit here and worry and be afraid about some of these consequences, like, oh, someone's gonna kill me for saying it. Man, I love life. I just saw this flock of birds fly in the sky. There's light clouds painted throughout, palm trees in the background. It was beautiful. A moment where there's no questions about what to say and there's no pressure. It's just love of what I'm receiving. There's always I and I. The I that knows that I is what the I is receiving. You know what I'm saying? Even when you go through your biggest spiritual experience, you know that you went through it. You know it's in front of you. You know it's something to be loved. You know it's something. That's the I and I. Even when you're at one, how do you know you're at one in that moment? I'm just yapping. But that was just based off a vibe that I had. I didn't really put that vibe there, but I used the vibe so I can keep yapping. Because then there's always something to talk about. It's a balance. Ouch. I'm stubborn. My neck just hurt. And I saw a dark flash. You can't imprison someone for being an artist. You can't imprison someone for using free speech in a country where freedom of speech is one of the amendments. I can control my body, but I'm kind of lazy and I'm more entertained by what I'm talking about. If you go between this conscious act and unconscious submission, then you can just use the unconscious submission and the information that it gives you to make a conscious decision, and you just continuously keep talking and you just can continuously use it. There's like a spirit inside of me that does this dark thing, but I let it because the truth is my free will. The truth is death. It's my favorite frequency, death. That's how I go to sleep. That's how I get my peace. But it's not necessarily how I make a YouTube video. So I'm gonna sit here and keep yapping and talking about God. I'm worried that the high priests are gonna kill me for saying too much. But what does that even mean? How am I saying too much? Maybe it's just because I'm wrong. And I'm spreading misinformation at that point. But no one's telling anyone to watch these videos, to listen to what I'm saying, to respect me. Everyone else seems to have their own free will. I've tried to control everybody, and it didn't work. That's what I'm talking about. Some of these times where I knew everybody was in my head, and I asked y'all a question. And that's why I say y'all, because I really believe that everyone already knows what happened. I've opened my doors to certain things. That's why I say I'm the chosen one. That's just a fucking name. But I've known everybody knew my mind at some point. And I'm just talking passionately. But I feel like people don't believe me. And I don't always believe me because I understand there's duality. That my mind is just my mind, and that's what worries me the most, is that I can experience something like a knowing and a belief, but know that it's just my mind. And then there's the duality where I'm just a 21-year-old man in person, in reality, here in front of this camera. And it worries me because then, well, I gotta make a decision. I gotta make a decision of what to do with myself. But I'm sitting here communicating. Physically, I'm making noise with my mouth. But the sounds I'm making, I'm following a thought train. Because there's this understanding that words have a meaning. Words mean something to our minds. Red means that image that pops into your mind, that pops into my mind when I think of red. And so that's how I'm communicating. I'm still using my mind. And my mind is great. Like I said, it's been in these frequencies where everybody was in my head and I asked them a question. I was being selfish. I was trying to get money off of y'all. So maybe that's why it didn't work. Maybe that's why y'all didn't put yes or no on the board when I asked you to. I said if everybody consent, I should have been more specific. I was very unspecific. I even tortured y'all. I even sent y'all into eternal darkness. Maybe I was just a bad ruler. Maybe I was being tested. Maybe I was given that frequency to see what I'd do if everybody was trapped in my head. And maybe I didn't pass because I got so impatient with you guys. It was a new thing to me. What would you do if you knew everybody was in your head? You know how you believe something? Say you're talking to someone and they give you this facial expression and you just know, you just believe they're, in that moment, you just know they're disgusted with you. But that's your perception. They might not be disgusted with you. And that's the thing that makes me both grateful for life because I can't control everybody and there's other inputs that I can receive that are completely out of my control, which is entertaining. And it's also sad because I wanted to be that guy, that chosen one. I wanted, and I don't even know if that's what I really want. But at the same point, I do know because I've prayed about this in my mind. And I've thought about what I would do on a spiritual plane. And I've also tapped into these frequencies within myself. And it seems that the world, when I share these things that I'm talking about, they just take it. It's like they don't reciprocate the energy and they make it harder for me to get back into those frequencies to the point where I have to bring it about consciously in myself. I have to will it and muscle it back into myself. But once it's there, it's back. Like I feel eternal light inside of me right now. I'm already dead. that's strength. And that's why I keep saying to myself that strong men make easy times, because a strong man can bring eternal light into himself. A strong man like myself can do some of the things I've done. And that's why I really believe that all of you already know me. I'm gonna just let this video ride out. I'm not gonna cut it because of time. I believe y'all already know me because of the frequencies I've tapped into, where I've shared myself with everybody. I've shared this frequency with everybody. I'm not gonna say, oh, it's just me, I created it, I'm the chosen one, I did it all. But I have said that. Now, as a wise man, this is what I understand. I have an inclination towards opposites. I have a peace inside of me that doesn't care about what it experiences. It's always in love. So I will sit there and change my frequency to evil. And I think it's probably why I sat there, and when everyone was in my head, or when I believed it, I said, okay, put them into eternal darkness. Now take them out, put them in eternal light. And I played this game with everybody, believing that every single person was going through this. I believed I created a big old chamber, and I had every person in the world, every human in the world in that chamber. And I said, put them into eternal darkness. What does that even mean? Because I just took y'all out and then put you into eternal light. And I played with y'all to show my power, to prove that I had power. But I didn't need to prove anything, because once I knew that everyone was in my mind, that's all I had to do. That was it. That was the power. It was already proven to me. It's like when God speaks to you, you don't need to say anything. It's just there for your appreciation. It's just there for I to appreciate the I in front of me. So I understand that I have a peace inside of me. And that's why I'll tap into the frequency of darkness, of evil. I'll push my boundaries and explore, of eternal light, of lust, of music, of prayer, of meditation, of aliens. And the only reason I'm talking about aliens now is because I had the aliens in that same room with all of you. And I believe y'all already know, because y'all were there. And the way I envisioned it, everyone was already there with the aliens. And I was speaking to the aliens. And there were certain stubborn people that weren't making things work down there. But the only reason I had aliens in there was because I wanted them to help with Earth, to help make it sustainable. And it would be so entertaining to me to be working with the aliens, have them come down to Earth and work with me. And I would help them fly around spaceships and plant trees. But the thing is, aliens are in reality. That's where this thing is non-duality. One. When you feel like you're connected to everyone and everything, and everyone knows you, and you're in the spotlight, and it's love. You love it. Non-duality. But the thing is, the aliens are in reality, which brings about a duality. So I can't say in my mind the aliens would be this way and we would save Earth like this. Because in reality, they might not have the tools to do that. Or they may be completely beyond that. Me and my dad were having a conversation the other day. Maybe the Earth is the way it is still because there's some higher beings or some powerful people that are watching us to see what we do, because they understand that humans all have their own free will and they may go separate ways from each other. Naturally, they may gravitate towards separate things and create division amongst themselves. So they're waiting to see if we can find peace amongst ourselves, despite our differences. Food for thought. And I like taking inspiration from people, seeing what other people are doing, hearing what they're saying, the way they speak, and mimicking them. I like it because I feel right in doing so. Like when I said food for thought, that guy on Instagram, Kane Kerner, or TikTok, he might be on both. Kane Kerner, I think is his name, where he walks up to the camera and he has a fruit and he scoops it out. I think it's a dragon fruit. And he talks about something. He talks about, your emotions, you got to get past that. Food for thought. And he walks away. Every time I'm saying that, food for thought, the way he does it, I'm mimicking him, but I know I got it right because I've heard him do it. I like it, and I did it perfectly. AKA, I did it the way that he says it, at least how I believe it sounds when he says it. So I got it right, and it's validating, and it's fun to play the game. Again, I'm just talking because I'm playing the game, making YouTube videos, trying to blow up. So I can go on my phone and see a bunch of comments and likes and be entertained. So I can hopefully help people, so I can make my life more entertaining, really. I mean, I might cause controversy. I don't want to suffer. I don't like suffering or suffocating. And also so I can make money and change my life. So I can go get myself an Airbnb, go rent myself a place or buy myself a place and have privacy and be surrounded by nature and have this lifestyle where I feel like I'm important. And I feel like that's what everyone's seeking. Everybody wants to be important. And it's a stubborn thing. I'm a king of this new world. And the beast that none of the kings like, that nobody likes, is inside of me. It's a hole created by my lust. I was weak. But going back, I think everybody's seeking to be important on this, just in general. And it's a stubborn thing because if everybody gets their way, well, shoot, it might just not be possible because one person's way might not coexist right with another person's way. So there might have to be a compromise. In theory, I'm all about compromise. I think it's the right thing. And I think that's why I've been granted certain power to experience a frequency. I wrote these lyrics that explain the frequency. Everything's gonna be alright. I've cultivated a new light, one in between light and dark, the eternal game. There is no shame, only love and tame. Now what does that mean, love and tame? It's a frequency. It's like when you died, I don't know if you believe this, but what if you had a choice between eternal darkness, which is like evil and unconscious, you can't control yourself, and eternal light, which is love and joy and control. You can live your life, you can do as you choose. Love, that is tame, right? I believe that is the ultimate. I respect it. I do not respect the dark, the evil, because it's a submission. It's a submission of yourself. This middle frequency is like compromise. It's eternal life here on earth. And that was part of my prayer the night that my stepfather called the cops on me, when I was having all y'all in my head and doing all this stuff and talking out loud about it. And he was just worried about the way I was talking. Maybe he was worried because he felt me about to control him. And see, I have a theory that he's a wise man, so I respect him and think that he's above my power. Certain people I have theories about, and then give them the power to be beyond my power. So belief comes into it. But while I was talking a bit ago, I felt my frequency. And I say my frequency because it seems like it's something new, but that's just a theory, that it's a new frequency, that there's a new frequency of eternal life here on earth, where it's a balance between, you don't have to be dead, you can be alive and experience the eternal light, and it's a neutral game. So I say one love and tame, because the tame is the compromise. Everyone's got to be in alignment with the frequency. It's about compromise. You can't be stubborn and say, I want the world to be this way. Because if you do, just go into eternal light yourself, which might be what that red-haired giant did in that dream where I knew all of y'all were there. And I said, are y'all okay with having sex with your family? Knowing damn well that my ego can't even take that. But it can. Which is why I've worried, because I've tapped into frequencies and lived my life in a way that's dangerous but felt peaceful in my mind. So it can be scary, because I'm sitting there walking down the street and then I question, okay, what is the peace right now? And then all of a sudden I want to just walk right into the street despite a car coming. And maybe it's because really that's the peace, the death or the pain or something. Something happens to where my frequency is raised to a point of peace, like death, like when I experience death. And it's the best thing I've ever experienced. One of the best things. There's a few frequencies, the eternal light, the balanced one of eternal life on earth. And just myself, my own peace, my own wisdom. Light and wisdom. Aya, the goddess Aya. They say on the internet, Aya is the god of light and wisdom. And I praise that God before I praise Jah. Jah I believe to be a doer, whereas Aya I believe to be a knower. And with my creative mind, I want to play with some Jaya, a little bit of both. And that's where I start dancing. Where I know I'm doing my shit. Feel me? I gotta urinate. I'm a human being in a body with a mind. 25 minutes in. Thanks for listening. I'll post this video. I'll probably make another one and just keep talking shit and keep posting them. So tap into the videos. And all that means is just watch them and listen. I don't know if you want. If it's not your thing, it's not your thing. But I hope these videos blow up.